Ooh, I look so good. Okay, here we go. Hello everyone, it's Evie, aka the BollyWitch, and I'm here to give you some top tips when it comes to being a queer writer of colour and what you need to know. So this is really just my way of giving something back and letting you know what you can do and what you should look out for in terms of being a writer, being a queer writer of colour as well, and a few hints that might work for you. So let's get started. So one of the biggest tips I can give you when it comes to not only being a queer writer, but just being a writer to start off with, period, is don't ever think that anything that you're writing is bad. It's an idea. If it's an idea in your head, get it down on paper. I spoke to one of my very favourite authors quite a while ago called Tess Gerritsen, who is a crime author, one of my favourites. And she was doing a book reading in Manchester, Deansgate, Waterstones. And I had the opportunity to ask her a question. And I said, I'm writing a book and I'm finding it really difficult to get started. What do I do? And she just said to me, even if your idea is rubbish, even if you think it's rubbish, just write it down, because at least you can go back to it and you can change it. You can elaborate on it. You can really grow with it. But if you don't have anything down, nothing's going to happen. And that was the best advice I could have had when starting out, because I was so busy worrying too much about the next tip that I'm going to give you that I just couldn't get anything down on paper. And the moment I let that go and started writing, yes, the first things that I wrote when I wrote Tainted Beauty and when I wrote Evolved, I would go back to it and I'll be like, oh God, no, I don't like that. But it still gave me the opportunity to say, okay, but I can change it. I can do this to it. I can do that to it. And it really, really helps. So no matter what the idea is, whether it's good or bad, or whether you're not even quite sure if it's a good idea at all, just put it down on paper, because you can always go back to it and you can always develop it more. My second tip is do not compare yourself to other people. I can't stress that enough. And by that, I'm really talking to myself as well, because I'm so guilty of that. When my book was published, all I could think of was, oh my God, look at this person's book. Like, they've written an autobiography and it's doing better than mine. Oh look, they're writing a book and they're using really fancy language. I was just consumed that I wasn't good enough because other people were doing better than me. And it really took a toll on myself, and I really had to snap out of it and say to myself, you know what? You are a great writer and you are writing for you. If you enjoy what you write, then that's the most important thing, and that's what makes it uniquely yours. If you keep worrying about what other people are doing, then you're not giving yourself the proper kind of encouragement to really grow into your writing. So when it comes to your work and your body of work, whether it's published, whether it's not published yet and you're looking to get it published, don't worry about what other people are doing. That's their journey. Focus on yours, because your journey is the most important, and someone else's journey, you don't know what they had to go through in order to get to where they are. It might have been a huge struggle for them as well, and now they're enjoying the fruits of their labor, and your time will come as well. My third tip is in regards to finding a publisher, because that can also be a really, really hard thing to do. So in these kind of times, there are different ways in which you can publish a book, and there are always options available to you. So just remember that if you are looking to publish your book, really think about the journey that you want to take with your book. And by that, I mean, do you want to have a lot of involvement in terms of putting the book together, and marketing and all of that. So, you know, would you prefer to self-publish? When it comes to finding an actual publisher, that can be really difficult because getting a traditional contract is very hard, because a lot of publishers, they turn away so many people. I mean, we all know this, but it can be very discouraging when you put your heart and soul into your work and a publisher turns around and says no. But then there are also other publishers who are willing to take a chance on people but give them a contribution based contract. And a contribution based contract is when they do offer you a contract, but you pay a little bit into it. So it might be, oh my God, I've got a hair on my face and it's annoying me. Think about how you want to publish your book. And by that, I mean, look at how much you want to be involved in it in terms of marketing, designing the cover, royalties, because we all want to get paid. Which moves on to my next tip, which is be proud no matter what. You have created something and you have put together an amazing piece of work and you're putting it out there. And if you start to lose steam because when your book is out there, it might not be selling as much or it might not be getting as much traction as you would like, it comes in waves. You know, sometimes you get an influx of people who are buying the book and everything like that, and it's a success, and then you might have a bit of a lull where not many people are focusing on your book because other things are happening and all of that. But at the end of the day, your book is out there, and be proud of that because it's such an accomplishment. And being a queer writer as well is so important right now. We want to make sure that there are more queer writers who are writing about their experiences, whether it be fiction or non-fiction. Just be so proud of that because that's such an accomplishment. And my last tip, which is probably one of the most important ones that I can think of, is do not expect other people to promote your book. When it comes to publishers, that they're not always going to be hyping up your book at any given moment. So if you want your book to do well and you want your book to get out there, both, you know, visibility wise, you know, making money and everything like that, make sure that you are constantly marketing your book. It might be that your publisher is going to be, you know, putting your book out there and everything like that, and that's great, but use your brain, use your resources, use your imagination, look at what is out there, look at what avenues you can go down, whether it be magazines, whether it be events, talks, anything like that. Look at all the available options available to you and really go for it when it comes to marketing. Don't be afraid to speak up. Don't be afraid of your work. Be proud of it and market the hell out of it, because the more you do that, the more it will travel, and you just don't know who it's reaching. I've been the same, where I've done loads of marketing and I'm just kind of like, why am I bothering? Like, I just feel like I'm hitting a brick wall. And then all of a sudden I'll get messages from people I don't even know saying, oh my God, I've bought your book, or they'll tag me on Twitter or they'll tag me on Instagram and say, read this book, it's amazing. Oh, I've reviewed this book, and I'll read this amazing review of it from a magazine that I didn't even know they even knew my book existed. And it's such a great feeling when that happens, because it just shows that, you know, you are really making a difference, whether you realize it or not. You really are reaching out to people, and your words are resonating with so many people. So don't ever stop marketing. Always think of, right, what can I do next? What can I do next to get my book out there? And just keep doing it, keep working. And a little bonus one for my queer people of colour who are writers: just remember that your contribution is gold. Your stories and your imagination and everything that you put down in words and in your book and in your writing and your art is so important, because queer people of colour, our voices need to be amplified more. because we are very much silenced when it comes to art and when it comes to putting our stories out there. A lot of the times we're not given the proper opportunities and not given the equal chances as other people, because I don't know, maybe they think our voices don't matter and our stories don't matter, or we just don't fit the right criteria for them. Especially for me, being a South Asian person, I felt that quite a lot. I've had publishers who I've sent my book to and have told me that, you know, my book isn't brown enough. It needs to be more Muslim. It needs to be around more around that narrative. I've had people say to me that, you know, my book needs to be something that it isn't. And it's so heartbreaking to have to deal with that type of stuff. But after I deal with that pain and that hurt, I change that and I filter it out of my system and turn it into strength and keep going, because my story is so important and I'm really, really determined to keep going with it. So to my queer writers of colour, you just keep on going, because I see you and I see just how amazing you are. Thank you so much. I hope these tips helped you. Please feel free to hit me up at Evie World on my social medias, which is Instagram, Facebook and Twitter, and also on YouTube as well, where you can see all my BollyWitch performances. And I really, really hope that I get to see you and that you follow, because it's always great to connect with new people. So thank you so much and enjoy the rest of the festival.